This video is brought to you by Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. As a proud Minnesota boy, I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little excited for the long-awaited Bob Dylan biopic starring Timothée Chalamet, a complete unknown. After being delayed over and over again, the film is finally here. On one hand, it's another musical biopic, which isn't a great start, but on another hand, it's about Bob Dylan, whose background I find endlessly fascinating. But back to that first hand, it's directed by James Mangold, who isn't really on my good side at the moment, but on the other hand, it stars Timothée Chalamet, who is very much on my good side. He's someone I always end up enjoying, no matter what he's in. Point is, I didn't really know how I'd feel coming out of this one, and I'm pleased to say it's a lot better than I thought it'd be. A Complete Unknown is about legendary musician Bob Dylan retelling the story of how he got his start, his relationships with Sylvie Russo and Joan Baez, and his struggle with fame. Honestly, when I try to write out what this movie is about, it is both very simple and also very hard to pin down, which is a pleasantly surprising thing to say about a musical biopic. If nothing else, it's an opportunity for Timothée Chalamet to do some capital A acting, if you know what I mean, which I should address right off the bat. Timmy is, as expected, very good. I was not entirely sold on the performance after the trailer, I gotta say. This is a thing I've noticed in general when it comes to Timmy. Out of context in trailer footage, he always looks like Timothée Chalamet putting on a voice or dressed up in a fun costume, but once I see the films themselves, this one especially, I'm reminded why he's just so employed. He disappears into roles very quickly and adds a sort of color to his acting that makes him pretty captivating to watch, no matter what it is. So often when an actor steps into the lead role of a musical biopic, it can come off a bit predictable or excessive. Oftentimes it really is a phenomenal performance, think Austin Butler and Elvis, but on the other side of the spectrum, and I won't name names, it can feel like an actor putting on a wig on the off chance that they'll automatically be in awards conversations for playing into familiar territory for the audience. An SNL impression, but you can also cry on command, basically. And as much as I love Timmy, I kind of expected that here, and I realized pretty early into the film that it's been a while since Timothée Chalamet has had to perform a character this complex before. I'm aware Paul Atreides is a complex character, absolutely, but he did have the massive dune of it all to fall back on. But here he's the center of the entire thing. Every choice is essentially built around his performance, and in the same way Wonka proved his range as a family-friendly comedic actor, this proves he can carry this kind of weight if he needs to. When you break it down, if this performance sucked or was even a little mediocre, the whole movie would be significantly less interesting to watch unfold, which says a lot about his performance and maybe even more about the film. This isn't to imply the other performances are bad, by the way. Edward Norton also almost literally disappears into the role of Pete Seeger. Elle Fanning does a lot with what she's given, even if 70% of her acting is reacting to Dylan singing. I think she makes that bland directorial decision much more compelling than it needed to be. And Monica Barbero is kind of the standout to me. I didn't know a ton about Joan Baez as a person outside of her music before this film, and she really brought the complexities of her situation to life. Besides Dylan, who's complex but pretty hard to crack open, Barbero is tasked with one of the more challenging performances in the film. Not exactly a straightforward figure, unlike a lot of the other characters we have here. If you can't tell, as good as the performances here can be, A Complete Unknown is, at the end of the day, a painfully beat-by-beat Wikipedia article biopic that I think most people can agree has gotten exhausting at this point. But it's also bursting at the seams to be something greater, as if an artist like Bob Dylan was never going to work under this formula. This isn't me saying that like it's a feeling that I had during it. No, the film literally works against the subject in a way. A major part of Dylan's story, one of the many things the film chooses to focus on, is him going electric and the poor reception to all of that, specifically at the Newport Folk Festival. The film, like many musical biopics, doesn't explore this aspect of his career all that thoroughly. It certainly doesn't feel like it exists on any side of the debate either, which frankly tracks. Why would a film under a genre as uninspired as the musical biopic feel capable of exploring what it means to be artistically free? There's no genre in film more trapped than this. Biopics aren't meant to solve their subjects, of course. The answer to the film's shallowness is not more key events. The answer is understanding the significance of Dylan as a figure, communicating that to the audience, and doing so beyond just crowd reactions. I'm expecting to lose some of you here, but there really is something I admire about Elvis when I look at it next to this, as it puts some pretty admirable effort into capturing the intensity of Elvis Presley's rise to fame. The film is as simple, flashy, and captivating as his early hits, even if it's a little headache-inducing in the editing. Biopics don't always need to attempt to capture the essence of their subjects through their filmmaking, and they don't always need to be as sprawling or extensive as Malcolm X, or as psychological as Oppenheimer, Disclaimer, there are endless ways to go about making a movie about someone as iconic and as challenging as Bob Dylan. I don't think James Mangold chose the worst route, but I think he chose the safest one. And in some bizarre way, the film does come out not nearly as mediocre as it should be. It is clear through the film that Dylan stuck out like a sore thumb amongst a crowd of obviously talented, but more traditionally leaning artists. He's sort of the human embodiment of a changing world in the film, a larger-than-life figure. A kind of quality that's harder to see now, that maybe wouldn't translate under a stranger, more artistically ambitious film, but in something this by the books, really gets across. In some weird roundabout way, what I feel is A Complete Unknown's greatest achievement is capturing how special and inspiring Bob Dylan was and is within the confines of one of the most uninspired genres the medium has to offer. It's for that reason that somehow I would still recommend this to most people. And you know what? I think that's what I gotta say. Thanks for watching. Go watch A Complete Unknown and form your own opinion, and before you head out. I want to thank this week's sponsor, Squarespace, the all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Let's break it down. You can start a completely personalized website with their new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint, where you can choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored to your brand or business and optimized for every device. You can easily launch that website and get discovered fast with their integrated optimized SEO tools so that you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. I'm personally a big fan of their video collections feature, which allows me to upload video content, organize my video library, and showcase my content on beautiful video pages. You can even sell access to your video library by adding a paywall to your content, which is pretty cool. And when it comes to visual design tools, Squarespace is just the best. Grow credibility and engage visitors with an unrivaled suite of visual design effects built in and ready to go on any Squarespace website. Create your online aesthetic with dozens of modern and intuitive options, then connect social and multimedia accounts in just a few clicks to extend your brand's footprint. Go to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and when you're ready to launch that website, go to squarespace.com/Karsten to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.